episode of Progress, Potential, and Possibilities, discussions with fascinating people designing a better tomorrow for all of us. I'm your host, Ira Pastor. Welcome, everybody, once again to another episode of our show. We'll bring you another really fascinating guest today, helping to create a better tomorrow on many different fronts. Today, we have the honor of being joined by Her Excellency Dr. Sara Al Madani, who is a well-known entrepreneur, advocate for women, fashion designer, brand ambassador, social media personality, and who has served as a board member of the United Arab Emirates Ministry of the Economy, Small and Medium Enterprise Project and Enterprise Council, a board member of the Sharjah Economic Excellence Network, and a board member of the Sharjah Chamber of Commerce and Industry, where she was selected by His Highness Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Mohammed Al Qasimi, who was the sovereign ruler of the Emirate Sharjah, and a member of the Federal Supreme Council of the UAE, making her the youngest member of that board at the time. Sarah's parents inspired her to start her own business at quite a young age. At 15, she set up her own fashion brand with ultimately the aim of changing how our women dress with a very unique and modern take on the abaya, which has attracted many fans and customers across the Middle East and North Africa. Following her success as a young entrepreneur and businesswoman, Sarah was selected to participate on the aforementioned government boards, ultimately to inspire more women in the UAE to become entrepreneurs. Has become a sought-after speaker at many universities, colleges, and institutes around the world. Her business portfolio includes, but it's not limited to, being the founder and owner of Sara Al Madani Fashion Design, owner of Social Fish Innovative Idea Consultancy, marketing, branding, and agency in both Dubai and LA, co-founder of Proposal Cupids, co-founder and CEO of HalaHi, the region's first celebrity shout-out platform. And when she's not doing all that, she's also a Middle East brand ambassador for companies like Natura Bissay, Nivea, Mercedes. A lot going on here. But Dr. Sara Al Madani, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show and talk to us.
My God, that was a long intro. It sounds like I've paid you to say that.
We'll talk later.
Thank you for the intro. But just to like clarify, I used to be a board member in the government. I finished my cycle and I left. So I'm no longer a board member, but it was like a long 6-7 years, and it was a great experience. But now it's time to focus on my career, my personal business, and all that.
Awesome.
My first business was fashion designing, but then after 21 years of doing it, I lost my passion for fashion. So I stopped doing it. And right now I just teach in some universities about fashion, and that's it. So, and the rest is just like growing in the tech industry and the creative aspects and the beauty and all that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Talk a little bit about that to start us off, because I mean it's rare that we hear about 15-year-old fashion designers knowing what they want to do at such a young age. But when did you get started? How did this all begin for you? When did you realize, hey, I'm interested in business and entrepreneurship?
To be honest, scary enough, my dad always tells me when I was between the age of 2 till the age of 5, that I was acting in a very weird manner. Like I was always acting way ahead of my age. And my dad's like, you would always massage us for money, or you would buy candy and resell it to your cousins and hire your other cousins to work for you while you manage the business. I don't remember all these things. And at the age of 3 and 5 and 4, like, why would someone do something like that? And where did I come up with this idea? I have no idea. So I think I was born with that, entrepreneurship spirit. And by the age of 15, I was like, you know what? I want to be in charge of my own financial decisions. Because every time I wanted something, my dad would say, oh, you got to work for it. Or, oh, I got to work hard to get it for you. Or you got to deserve it. You got to earn it. So I was like, you know what if I don't have to ask anybody? And the idea came from being financially independent. And and I started the business when I was 15. I opened the store right away. I had staff immediately, and I was a 15-year-old trying to manage men and women in the age of range between 30 to 48, and nobody would listen to me. Like, who would listen to a 15-year-old? So I had such a hard time the first year building a bond with the employees to explain to them how is their boss only 15. But then we built a friendship. I believe in leadership, not in management. And slowly it just took over, and it grew and expanded. And yeah, and I've just I believe in one thing, which is we live once, and if we live right once is more than enough. So I want to explore what I can and cannot do, and the only way to do this is to take risks, to fail, to discover, and to know exactly what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. I want to know if I can be the next Olympic swimmer. I want to know if I can be a restaurant owner, but how can I know? The only way is to try. And I know a lot of people are so comfortable and they don't want to try and take risks, but taking risks is my bowl of cereal in the morning.
Absolutely, that most definitely. And I happened to watch a TED talk that you gave a little while ago, where you were talking in general about innovation. And I'm sitting here on the east coast of the United States, and normally when I think about the UAE, obviously you think first of all comes to mind Dubai and the glamour and glitz, but a lot going on over there, sort of in the high tech space. You have a space program now. You have I'm in the biotech world, and I know you have a big biotech push. There's a group in Dubai that's figures out how to make it rain. A lot of really high tech stuff happening, but not all innovation is extremely high tech. Talk a little bit about, as you did in this talk, what innovation really means to you on different fronts.
So innovation is basically not reinventing the wheel. It's taking something that exists and applying it differently, making it more innovative. Now, the talk you were listening to, the TED talk you were listening to, was basically me talking about how people think that in business, to innovate, you got to come up with a unique service or product. But innovation is not just that, because if that's the case, someone else will come and do it better than you. But innovation is an ecosystem where, yes, I need a great idea for a product or service. Then I need innovation of cost, innovation of pricing, innovation of marketing, innovation of advertising. It's a 360, an environment you have to create for yourself around your company. Not just, hey, let's come up with this great product and boom, and that's it. It doesn't work like that. It's an ecosystem that needs to be sustained. And for you to be sustainable in being innovative, everything about your approach has to be innovative. Like everything, how you're making money, how you're saving money, how you're promoting, how you're talking to your customers, your customer service, everything has to have innovation as part of it. Otherwise, you will not last in the market for long. Because if it was just generated by thinking of products and services, then guess what? Somebody with more money, more leverage to research more or come up with greater ideas will come and wipe you away. That's it.
And something else that I've heard you say, I've heard written about in many of the articles. You have an expression that says failure is the best school. And one can look at your profile, say on Instagram, you have hundreds of thousands of followers, extremely successful. But you have been very open that along the way, from 15 to now, you failed a few times, and this is not something to be ashamed of. I mean, in the world today, we look at social media, we see that everyone's a success. But no, we need to learn from failure. Failure's out there. We can't be afraid of it. Talk a little bit about what you mean by failure is the best school.
So as we grow up, culture and traditions and family and the media teach us that failure is something you should be ashamed of, something you should hide, something you should never talk about. And then we've been programmed that failure is a huge fear because it's unaccepted, and then we'll be rejected from society. But then with age and experience, I realized that failure is not something embarrassing. Failure says I had the guts to go do it, and then found out that I was doing it wrong. There was a missing ingredient, and then I picked up what's missing and I tried again. So failure is a school. It's a university. It's like a lesson. It's an expensive lesson, but it's a lesson. And every time I failed, instead of focusing on, oh, she did, he did, what they did, they stole. I was like, okay, how did I go wrong? Let me focus on that part so I can pick up where I went wrong and fix it, because I cannot change or fix my surrounding or the people that did me wrong or all that. No, I can just fix me. So how did I go wrong? What's my missing ingredient? And then I go pick it up, and then I go back and I add it again and I try. So I would not, failure is not something that it intimidates me or scares me anymore. And I say always fail quick, fail fast, fail cheap. So if you're going to fail, just, fail fast. It's fine. And fail cheap. Don't spend a lot of money when you're starting something new that you need to explore and understand and grow in, try to spend as less money as you can. Be innovative with your money and how you use it. So just in case you fail cheap, and then you try again. I mean, failure can only, can beat you or teach you. You either dwell in sadness, or it can teach you and you can grow out of it.
Yep.
And there's two people in this world. They either, sit there for years crying about it and like not making a difference. And then you have the people that say, you know what, I'm gonna try this way. And the biggest leaders in the world, the biggest like game players, game changers of the world, like the Richard Bransons of the world and the Steve Jobs, everybody failed. They all failed. But what's common between them is that failure was not an option. It was, I either make it or I either learn. It was not I either make it or I either fail. You get it? So it's a change of mindset, because we've been brainwashed for years and years and centuries, like to think that failure is something we should not talk about. Even my mom, I was bankrupt twice. So my mom was telling me, do not talk about it. Pretend like everything is fine. Don't let people know you've been bankrupt. It's not good. And for some time, I was like, yeah, she's right. But then I realized, no, the more I open up about it, the more people help me, the more people support me. And I did open up once about it in an exhibition I was at. And I was like, you know what? Let me just say it. And I was like, yeah, I've been bankrupt recently, bad partnership. The partner took all the money. And then this lawyer came up to me and he's like, you know what? I'll be your lawyer for free. And I was like, wow, and I've been bankrupt at that moment. So I need a lawyer for free. So I was like, damn, that's amazing. And I would have not had this opportunity if I closed up to myself and pretended like I was successful and all. Because I mean, that's not what entrepreneurship is about. Entrepreneurship is about, doing whatever it takes and not letting failure, stop you, because failure is just like a bump in the road. A car gets over the bump and moves. Like it's just like a small hurdle. It's a pebble in your shoe. You pick it up and you just keep going.
That's an excellent message. This is a really excellent message. And another message that we've just come through this major pandemic. Hopefully we're coming to the end of it soon. And, one of the things we always heard as everything was shut down is this is the best time to start a business. And case in point, you in the middle of a pandemic, you started the HalaHi. And, this first of a time sort of shout out service, but you really, globally, you brought together celebrities from the Middle East, from Hollywood, from Europe, actors, influencers, and put something together all while we were shut down. Talk a little bit about your experiences with putting together a business during the pandemic.
So, in Arabic we say, wait, hold on. There's a saying. Let me translate the saying. It says, when the wolf is down, a lot of knives and forks are on the table, which means that when every big industry, every big company is suffering and people are confused and emotionally lost and all that, that's the time for you to come and take over, because the field is empty. Like, for example, a lot of companies went bankrupt. Like, I think, what was it? Golden Gym, Avis, a lot of companies went bankrupt, like completely gone. And, if you think about it, if that big player was controlling the market for like 30, 40 years, and now they're gone, there is so much space in the field to go and play and try different things and to exchange them with something better and newer, an app and all that. So companies during COVID did not accept that change should take place right now. And they were not ready to take that step. And a lot of them stayed laid back behind, doing the traditional stuff they always do, hoping things will get better. Things will never get better after COVID. Everybody changed, and nobody's going to be the same anymore. Consumers are more cautious. Products are wanted differently. The demand of things changed. Like, you can even tell, like, the demand of organic food is even higher than normal food now, because people care about their health. They care about their spending. Every dime they make is like hard for them now. So they want to spend it in somewhere they are sure they'll get something good out of it. They care about customer service, just in case things don't work out. They want their money back. So everybody changed, and nothing will go back to how it was. But a lot of companies were hoping, wishful thinking that things will get better. And that's when they all died. And the space was empty in the entertainment industry, in the automotive industry, in the health industry. And that's when everyone was like, you know what, since everybody's asleep, I'm gonna go play right now. So this is the chance we took. And we started HalaHi, me and my partners. And we did amazing. We literally covered the full amount of investment we put into the company in 3 months. And plus, we targeted in a problem that is we gave a solution to a problem that was happening. So when you're business gives a solution. And that's what Steve Jobs did. That's what Bill Gates did. When you're offering a solution for something, you will always be needed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sarah, obviously, you've had a lot of success as an entrepreneur, some failure, as you say, but a lot of success. And then along with that, obviously, has come for you this role of not just ambassador, brand ambassador, but influencer. And sort of the role of the influencer is something it's rather new. It's only been around, the last several years. But, someone like you get a lot of followers, you build a business, and you have this role. I've watched, role of you on the internet, BMW commercials, taking a jog and so forth. And with this role, obviously, when you have hundreds of thousands of people watching you, you have this additional responsibility, whether you want it or not. And one of the ones that, you've talked about a little bit recently is obviously COVID and getting people vaccinated. You have hundreds of thousands of people watching you in the Middle East. You want to get people vaccinated in the Middle East. Talk a little bit about some of the unseen responsibility that comes with being an influencer, not just helping the companies, but helping other people.
So the thing is, I'm not a blogger or like someone who like all they do is spend their time on social media, but by default, when you have a story, when you're charismatic, when you know how to speak, when you know how to address things. I was using my social media as a platform to inspire women to believe in themselves and their dreams. I will not say empower because I hate that word.
Right.
So I was inspire women through my platform, and like without even a plan, like, or not even, it wasn't even planned or like something I wanted to do, you become an influencer. And the more you grow, the more famous you get, the less freedom you have and the bigger your responsibility is. Now, everything you do and say is accountable, and people actually copy you and listen to you. So it's not an easy thing to do. But it becomes easy if you're an awakened person, if you're wise, if you're clear, if you're mature about understanding that a platform and you have a voice and you need to use it wisely, because I've seen people use it recklessly and they are, but these people are just people on social media. So if they get hacked one day, they're gone, their legacies are gone. But no, I believe in building a legacy online and offline, because you never know how things might change. This influencer thing might disappear one day. Just like advertising in newspapers disappeared right now. It's became something old. So I believe in, being responsible on social media, creating a legacy outside of social media. And being an ambassador for so many brands, I think it wasn't because of my following, and I never work with brands that want me just because of my following. I like brands who like my story. That's why if you see all the campaigns I do, Mercedes, BMW, and all that, it was always about my story, who I am, what I do, me being rebellious towards my fears, myself, and the stereotype of where I'm living and all that. So it was always my story that inspired the brand, and I work with them. Other than that, if a brand just wants to utilize my following to just create advertisements, then I don't do it, because I'm not a blogger. So that's why the caliber of brands that I work with they're all international, and they're brands that understand what I bring to the table, and they love to highlight my story, because I want to inspire through everything I can. Like if I can change one person, I've changed the world, and it's contagious. So yeah.
And feeding off that, you mentioned, you're not for the whole female empowerment thing. I've read about that, but you did like a couple of weeks ago in a United Nations International Day of the Girl, and you were a major part of that conversation. Just talk a little bit about what was going on there, if you would, about with the focus obviously on violence against women and young girls.
So I think one of my responsibilities is to actually not only just inspire, but to focus on issues that are growing and issues that women go through. For example, look, I will not say I'm 100% advocate for women, because I inspire men as well. And to me, we are genderless. We're just people, humans. But because I'm a woman, automatically women are drawn more to me, in a sense of inspiration. So what happened that day is we were talking about issues that young girls and women go through, which is violence, trafficking, and like marriage of like minors and all that. We were highlighting and educating to change the culture, to change the mindset towards these things, and to tackle this topic, and to not just this is what happens. A bunch of people sit in a room, everyone talks, and it becomes a gossip session. Okay, what is the action plan? Like, how are we solving this problem? So we sat and we took like a pledge or a promise to do these, like, I think 12 things, if I'm not mistaken, or 20 things, and to promise to like pass them on to people and to create habits that will change change the life of women and children that go through these things. And it was very heartbreaking because, violence against women and children, it's insane. I don't even understand how something like that can happen. And whatever I can in my own will and power to do to change that and to help, I would do it. But you're right. I hate the word empowerment because I've never seen a bunch of men holding hands saying empower me, So why would girls do it?
Sure.
And so I hate it. I believe in inspiration. We are all powerful. Let's inspire each other. I don't need to empower you. You don't need to empower me. It's, just like men don't need it, women don't need it as well.
And speaking of inspiration, I always ask the question on this show. Obviously, we have the next generation listening, that's listening to your story, that has dreams and visions of entrepreneurship and so forth. Take a couple minutes just to talk to the next generation that wants to be the next Sara Al Madani. Advice, thoughts, inputs, please inspire them as well.
I mean, look, if I did it when I was 15 in the UAE, I'm 35 right now. So that's almost 20 years ago, right? If I did it 20 years ago where there was not a strong support system, and it was very challenging, and I was young, and it was illegal to get a license at that age, but I managed to do things, and I managed to enter in such a male dominant industry and world, and I proved myself. What is stopping you now? Because right now everything is available. Like now, to raise money is easy. To find support system is easy. My country supports women so much that 60% of the ministers are women. The CEOs and in the financial sectors are women. So right now, it's so easy for anybody to be anything they want. What's stopping you from doing that? Live your dreams. Don't be scared of failing. Failing is something we do every day. When you're going somewhere and you're on Google Maps and you miss the location, you failed. But do you go back home? No, you're still driving to the location and trying to put the location again. When you order something online and you pay a lot of money and they ship it to you and it looks completely different, guess what? You failed and you invested money and you failed. But do you stop shopping online? No, you don't. Living your dreams and creating your reality and building a business is the same thing. Same as those two examples. When you fail, you pack up and start again. There might be some money lost in the process, but that doesn't stop you. So just like, we are willing to take risks every day in doing things like these that we fail in every single day. Why not take a risk in living your dreams? And think about it in this way. Flying a plane is 120% more safer than driving a car. The probability of you dying in a car is so high that bungee jumping, flying a plane, even free falling off a plane is safer than that. But guess what? You drive every single day. If you're willing to take a risk that can threaten your life, why can't you take a risk to live your dreams, to go out there and get what you want to get? What's stopping you? You are your only wall. So take that wall down and go live your dreams and make things happen. You will never know unless you try. It's as simple as that.
Excellent message. Excellent message. Final question. We went through obviously a bunch of your business portfolio at the beginning of the show. Any upcoming initiatives, things happening in 2022 that obviously nothing confidential, but things that you can talk about, places we should be looking for you, conferences you're going to be speaking at. Please take the floor on that one.
There are so many conferences I'm doing now, even on like every week in Expo and everything. So I don't know in conferences where can you find me unless you follow me on social media. But what I do that I can tell you that I'm launching my skincare line.
Excellent.
It's called Kind and Co. And we've been working on it, me and my partner, for so long. But what I love about it is that it promotes kindness, it's not just skincare products. So we also say that if you're not kind, our products will never work on you. So it's all about being a kind person and beautiful inside, and then thinking of being beautiful on the outside.
Wonderful. Well, we will keep an eye on that. We will put all the social links in the bio to the show. But yeah, it's a fascinating story, Sara. And I just really, once again, appreciate you taking the time to come talk to us about it on our show. For everybody that's going to be listening to this particular episode on our podcast or watching on the YouTube channel, you've been listening to Her Excellency, Dr. Sara Al Madani, entrepreneur, advocate, brand ambassador, social media personality, all sorts of things going on. But Sara, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule. Thanks for everything you're doing. And as we like to say on our show, thanks for helping to create a better tomorrow through your story. Really fascinating.
Honor. Thanks for having me. And if we're not creating a better tomorrow, then why are we even existing?
Great point. Be well.